All right, so breaking news of the Auditor General Kimi Makwetu's death this evening. He died in hospital. We're still unclear on the cause of death. I've got a statement here that's coming from the Auditor General's office, and it says, "It is with great sadness and shock that we announce the passing of Auditor General Kimi Makwetu this evening. Mr. Makwethu passed away in hospital. He was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in June 2018. As the National Audit Office, we joined the Makwethu family in mourning his death. We ask the public to keep the family in their thoughts as they come to terms with this passing, and to give them the privacy and the space to deal with his passing. When they are ready, the family will share the details of how they would like to honor their beloved husband and father."
Oh, absolutely tragic. I mean, Karima Brown joining us again. This terribly tragic news just breaking this evening. 54 years old. Such an extraordinary man who would relentlessly detail to us the problems with corruption and mismanagement of funds, taken so young from us.
It's a huge loss, Sally. You know, the Auditor General was this fixture in our financial controls that consistently told us what the situation with our finances were, and of course how to turn them around and how to stem corruption. And what for me is particularly sad is that his hard work was being rewarded. He was due to take up a very senior post at the United Nations, which is of course a fantastic recognition for the work that he's done in South Africa. He was going to be performing to us. So when I, as I was leaving the studio, when you guys said breaking news, he died, I literally stopped in my tracks, Sally, because I was looking forward to the contribution that he was going to make in a multilateral forum, and it gives you an idea of the caliber of people that we have. Often our view of a public servant is a lazy, inept, corrupt person who's not there. And of course the Auditor General was the epitome of the very opposite. Someone that was diligent, someone that worked hard, that was professional, that had ethical leadership, and going to be playing that role at the United Nations, taken away so quickly.
It's absolutely tragic, and also loved across the board. Not just, by the ANC, but across the board. And, Lindsay Dentlinger, our parliamentary reporter in Cape Town, and I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this, she's just messaged me and she said, "Sal, I'm so gutted by his death. Exactly a week ago, Parliament was supposed to have their last engagement with him. The meeting was due to happen in the evening, and it was due to be an actual sitting for the first time since lockdown, because they wanted to have a farewell dinner with him afterwards. It was cancelled that morning because Makwethu was unwell." I mean, it's just, as you say, this is a man who is exemplary in every way, who did incredible things, cut down in his prime, and you say that the details are that he had stage 4 lung cancer.
Yeah, that's what the statement says there. And Karim, I mean, having survived many hits as well, he's spoken about how, his team was often threatened when they do, especially those municipal audits. There was lots of threats coming from local government, the officials, municipal managers, but this is the man who said, "I'm not going to relent."
Absolutely. In fact, the last public platform that he and I shared was a South African Council of Churches event where civil society was brought in. And as you know, the South African Council of Churches have played a big role in pushing back, corruption in the public service. And he was the guest speaker and I was the moderator. And the one thing that really struck me about him was that he really lived the Batupele principle, putting people first. And his argument for why he was so committed to, deal with corruption was that it was, in fact, stealing from the poor. It was disabling citizens and their ability to live fruitful lives, to access basic things such as water, health services, and so on. And as I said, our impressions of civil servants, given what you hear at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry and all these scandals from the Lottery Board and everyone else, you know, Kimi Makwetu was somebody that you could really just pin your hopes on as an honest broker, as a professional consummate in performing his responsibilities, and always reminding the rest of South Africans of the greater good, of what can be done if public monies are used properly. I will never forget how his appearances at the SCOPA, which is, of course, Parliament's oversight on public finances, and every successive SCOPA chair, from Themba Godi and others, have only had good things to say. And as you know, he was a deputy also for a very long time. So certainly someone that, you know, put shoulder to the wheel to try and bring some integrity to public finance management in South Africa.
And of course, we know that the incoming AG, Sakani Maluleke, she has also been a deputy for a long time, as he was. So, you know, one hopes in terms of the integrity and the stability within the Auditor General's office will be preserved. Karima, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. We will, of course, continue to cover this breaking news story, the very tragic news this evening that Kimi Makwetu, our outgoing Auditor General, has died of lung cancer.